Efauji Talks, an IESECCI initiative which promises to get inspiring stories and brilliant speakers on board each episode. I am Shaminder, the brand head of this show, and we are currently showcasing the spirit of womanhood of our Choose to Challenge series. Today on our show, we have Dr. Anjana Vinod, who is a powerhouse of positivity and thunderbolt corporate trainer, a faculty at multiple B schools in India and internationally. Hi, and welcome to the show.
Hello, a warm good evening to you and all your viewers. Thank you so much for having me over. It's absolutely an honor and pride to associate with the part of the community which we all only are awe of. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's indeed, we are actually honored to host you today. And before we start our discussion, let me acquaint viewers to our guest today. Well, she is a dynamic personality with diverse experience in various fields. The only breast cancer coach in India, a 3 decades of experience in training across all levels, across organizations, a TEDx speaker, a winner of multiple awards, including the Best Coach in India from ICF and the prestigious Economics Times Pioneer Award in L&D space, a published author and a story blogger. This is wonderful. I just loved, while I was reading about your bio, and I felt you're such a multifaceted person, and you have beautiful smile. I must say that's a very positive thing that we look for. So, without wasting any further time, I want to really ask you: is it possible to stay positive all the time?
Well, thank you so much. And, this is one question I very often get asked that, Anjana, we hear about positivity, we hear speakers talk, 2 दिन किसी को सुन लिया तो हमको ऐसा लगता है, अरे, I am very positive. And after 2 days, the fuzz is all gone and like, oh, rubbish, there is nothing like positivity. So is it possible to be positive all the time? Well, it is just like you take bath every day. It's just like you brush your teeth every day. It's just like you eat food every day. Being positive every day is a choice that you make. So there have been years of stuff of negativity or challenges that has always been brewing inside us. So let me give you a quick analogy. If you are drinking coffee, you have a mug, you drink coffee, and after you finish coffee, you obviously are not licking the base, what is there inside. Right? So there'll be little residue of coffee which is remaining. Take that mug of coffee and go below a tap of running water. The water starts overflowing. What comes out first is the coffee water. But that doesn't happen all throughout. Correct? After a certain point of time, when the entire residue is gone, what you get is clean water.
Yes.
Now, with so many years of negativity that has been brewing inside you, can I just talk positively 2 days and say, positivity is fake, doesn't happen every day? Well, that's not the truth. Like running water has to constantly keep going inside so that the clean water comes out. You have to choose to be positive every day so that you can survive and be positive every day. So yes, the answer to your question is, it is possible to be positive all the time. It's a matter of choice that you take.
Absolutely. It's a wonderful analogy that you explained. And I personally feel it's taming of your mind, in whatever situation you're. If you tame your mind in that situation, I'm sure the outcomes will be positive. And with so much of unrest around the pandemic issue, if you talk about the present situation, how does one stop overthinking? I am constantly thinking. I don't know, how do we stop that?
So I have a very simple, process that I follow to how you stop overthinking. Life is all about revolving around 3 circles. The centermost is called the circle of control. The second one is circle of influence. And the third one is your circle of concern. Okay. 99% of us operate from the circle of concern, and hence we keep overthinking. So let me give you an example. Say, for example, I am really missing Savvy a lot and she hasn't called me. Yeah, I don't know what is wrong with her. She's not calling me. I don't know what she thinks of herself. Maybe she's really busy or maybe she's ignoring me. I have these constant thoughts about you not calling me brewing inside. Does that help me in any manner? The answer is no. So what is in my control? Pick up the phone and dial in your number and say, hey, hi, I've been missing you for a long time. I thought I'll just quickly check how you are. Now, assuming I called and you did not answer the phone, is that in my control? No, it's not. Then I move to a circle of influence. I call up somebody or I call up Abhishek and I say, hey, Abhishek, you know what? Can you please connect me to her? I need to speak to her. It's a little urgent. And Abhishek says, oh, you know what? She's actually busy. Let me give her the message. He gives you the message saying, Anjana is trying to get in touch with you. That's my circle of influence. Can I connect with somebody who could get my job done? Now, Abhishek calls you and he tells you that, okay, Anjana is trying to get in touch with you. You say, yeah, okay, just tell her I'll call her back. And you never call me back. Then I start operating from the circle of concern. Message diya, fir bhi she's not calling me. Why like that? But is that in your control? It's not. What's the point of thinking about stuff that you can't do anything about? And hence, for me, overthinking is a habit that people have. But every time a thought touches your mind and it disturbs you mentally, it makes you rethink certain things, it makes you uncomfortable, I just have one thing to say. See, are you operating from a circle of concern? If you are, get into your innermost circle and see, is it possible for you to do certain things? A lot of times people tell you certain things. It's not in your control what they tell. But what's in your control? How do you react to those things? Like I always give this example. It's a little funny, but I love to give this example. When you're walking on the road, there is a dog which is barking. Do you stand on the road and say, oh, bow, 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 bow? Do you do that to that dog? No, you don't. But what happens when you don't do it? The dog eventually moves out. And that's exactly what we are saying. What's in my control? If I operate from my control, if I operate from my influencing circle, it is something I can validate. It is something I can navigate. It is something that I can maneuver. And that kind of works brilliantly. So overthinking, yes, it's a habit. But moment anything is disturbing your health because you're overthinking, just think, is it in your control? If not, it's in your influence. If not, then just drop it at that. Don't let it affect you because it's not in your control. What people think, what people talk, what people do, it is their prerogative. You cannot tell them what to tell you. So what's the point of talking about stuff that's not even in your control? So overthinking, just check which circle you're in. And if you're in a wrong circle, shift your gears.
Beautifully explained. I was so engrossed while you were explaining. I mean, it is so important, Even it's a proverb in Hindi that chinta or chitta ek saman hai. So why do we get into that? And we have to understand what circle of the requirement that you should be in. Thank you so much. I'm sure our viewers are going to really get benefited by this answer because this is constantly troubling all of us most of the time. And then what comes to in my mind is overthinking can also be related with need and want. So what is the difference between that? How do you differentiate that?
So this is a very beautiful question. What is the difference between a need and a want? So let me ask you this question. If I had to look at a Maslow's hierarchy theory that we learned in our management, and if I had to ask you, or very generalistic, I had to ask all the viewers, what's a need? What would you say? What's a need?
See, need is something which is a necessity, maybe, and want is a desire.
Okay. So tell me one thing, is Mercedes-Benz a need or a want?
It's a desire.
Yeah. So is it a need or a want? So you would, according to you, if you say desire, that means it's a want?
It's a want.
Okay, let me just give you another analogy before you confirm it's a want, and I will change your mindset to tell you actually Mercedes-Benz is a need.
Okay.
Okay, so let me put it this way. Okay, assume that you got married and you have a little child. Okay, and the Fauji community, okay, the government decided that everybody who is into this particular band will be provided with a Mercedes as a mode of transportation from wherever you are to the office base. Okay, so you got married and your husband drives you every day in a Mercedes and stuff like this. You deliver a very beautiful baby and the baby starts going to school. Okay, every day the child goes to school in a Mercedes while everybody else is coming in a normal car, or probably a Maruti Alto or a I-20 or a Desire or stuff like this. But your child is going in a Merc every day with a very royal style. He gets down from the car and he enters. That happens for continuously for 3-4 years. The 5th year is when the pandemic struck and the government decided, arre baapre, so many Mercedes-Benz, call it off. We just need them to come to work, give everybody an I-10. So everybody got an I-10 and so did your husband get an I-10. Next day going to school, your son says, come papa, let's go to school. And the dad says, okay, come, the car is there down. And he says, where is our car? So you're like, this is our car. And your son says, nay, 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 nay. I want to go in the big car because every day I go in the big car. Everybody looks at me. I try to flaunt that. I'm not going to school only in this car. And like destiny had to have it, you get a call. Sir, calling from ICICI Bank. Do you need loan? What is your first answer?
Yes.
Yes. Now tell me, is Mercedes-Benz a need or a want?
Now, of course, a need, because my daughter or my son is going to, absolutely.
Absolutely. So for me, the difference between a need and a want is very simple. Anything which when removed causes you discomfort, it's a need. Anything when removed, if causes you discomfort, it's a need. Else, everything else is a want.
I am awestruck with your answer, and it's so convincing actually, because most of the time we are not able to differentiate, and then it's a process of overthinking, distress, and all that. So, yes, I'll remember this example. It's very beautifully explained. So when we talk about Maslow, what again came to in my mind is, everybody has a different definition for success. So what do you think about success?
See, it's very simple. Success for everybody is different. So if I had to ask a layman and ask you, are you successful? The normal answer is, but I need to do this. Yes, but I need to reach here. So are you successful? The answer may not be an immediate yes, maybe a no, or maybe yes, but. So success purely depends on where are you viewing it from. So a simple, again, I mean, I love metaphors and I love analogies because I feel it connects with people very beautifully. So do you drive, ma'am?
Yes.
Yes. Now tell me one thing, when you're driving, if you're driving on a highway, okay, there will be cars ahead of you and there are a lot of cars behind you which you would have overtaken and gone ahead.
Yes.
Correct. Now, when we talk about overtaking and going ahead, and when we stand at a particular place, there are suppose 10 cars ahead of you. When you're looking at it from the front shield of your car, success is far ahead because there are 10 cars ahead of you. But when you look at the rear view mirror and you look from there, there are so many cars you have left behind to reach where you have reached. Success for me depends on where do you see it from. Every individual is successful. It depends whether are you looking at yourself being better than where you were, Or are you comparing yourself to somebody who is 10 steps ahead of you? Having a desire, having an ambition is great. But can I define that as a parameter for success for me? Well, that's a matter of choice. So for me, I am very successful. I am very contented. I am very happy. Anything that comes more to my plate, welcome. Even if it doesn't, I am quite happy where I am because I'm better off than many more who desire to be who I am. So success in simple words, for me, the definition of success is depends where you see it from. If you think you are seeing it from the front shield, maybe you're not successful. But if you look at it from the rear view mirror, you are definitely successful.
Uh, your examples are beautiful, and I'm sure when we are talking about success, if you're sitting and seeing at the rear view, I'm sure you will be at least contented. You will at least feel satisfied. You will feel that I have achieved so much. No, rest that I want to achieve is a process. It's a continuous process. Life is a continuous process. Yeah, nobody wants to be, and I'm sure. So, what is the difference? So, how a youth quantifies that? Do you think a youth feels it in a different manner? For them, they are of course starting from the beginning.
So, very honestly, I work with the digital natives, which is the new terminology for the younger generation. They are no longer called the Gen X; they are called the digital natives because they are the one who are the most tech savvy community to talk about. Uh, Today's youth very strongly looks at it from a perspective where they define their success parameters on a long run journey. Passion that drives them is very strong. One thing that I normally get asked, when I speak to students or when I'm speaking to children, normally I get asked is, ma'am, I need one doubt to be cleared. I'm like, yeah, please go ahead. What's your question? My mother and father never understand me. I have parents who think except education, nothing works. I want to become a dancer. I want to become a photographer. I want to become this. But my parents are not supporting only. What do we do? Now, I have only one answer to these digital natives. Would any parent not want their child to become what they want to become because of ego? Or because they are scared that tomorrow when they are not there, will their child have enough and more to sustain themselves? So the only answer I give the youth today is whenever you speak to your parents or whenever you speak to somebody convincing what you want to do, I think more than telling them what you want to do, it is important that they speak to the parents to tell them how are they secured and not dependent on the parents. Today's youth looks at diverse backgrounds. So let's be very honest. When we were kids, we had only three streams. If you're a duffer, you're arts. If you're a mediocre, you're commerce. If you're a scholar, you're science. The world ended there. There was nothing beyond that. But today, when I look at St. Xavier's College, it closes at 97, 98% for an arts admission.
Arts.
I
Yes.
want to look at people and ask them, which duffer gets 98%? Yeah. I mean, I don't know of any. So predominantly, the world has changed. The youth is changing. It's time that we adapt to the youth, give them that platform, give them that comfort that yes, you can do what you want to do, as long as they are aware of the consequences of the decisions that they take. So one thing that I make the youth always do is please sit, take a blank sheet of paper, not even a ruled one, a blank sheet of paper. Write down your choices. What could be the possible good things? What could be the possible challenges? And then weigh them and compare it with your parents' decision and then decide for yourself. I think Three Idiots movie very beautifully says it. So for me, that could be an example to quote at any points of time. It's not the world thinks, it's what you think about yourself that makes the difference. Yes.
Thank you so much. It's so inspiring to hear. I'm sure at least, our thoughts get positive. And indeed, positivity is very much required to start for any damn thing. Dr. Anjana, I'm going to digress from your professional to a personal question. Well, I was reading your bio. I learned that you were diagnosed with big C, that is cancer.
Yes.
Uh, that's so. What all changed after that?
So, I was diagnosed with the last stage of breast cancer when my daughter was just a year old. And I remember the day, my husband, my parents completely shattered, because those days, I'm talking about 20, 22 years ago, 20 years ago to be very precise, those days, getting the diagnosis were not that what they are today. Today, it's just like a cough and cold. You diagnose it early and it's completely cured. That time, it was a big challenge. So when I was diagnosed with it, I very honestly initially felt a little fear, but it was not much, because somewhere down the line, I knew I'm going to come back. And the only dream and aspiration I had, even before going for the surgery, I stood in front of God, and the only thing I told him was, I just want to make one plat for my daughter. I don't want to come back to make that one plat for my daughter. And very honestly, I've not done it even today. Not because I don't know how to make a plat, because she has short hair. So, so that's the reason I don't make a plat for her. But yes, that was there. And I remember getting wheeled into the operation theater. I had the father-son duo who was operating me at the Bombay hospital. And you know how sometimes you don't use words, but your eyes communicate a lot of things. So, the eyes conversation, the father and the son were having a conversation, and they looked at each other and like, I don't know why we are operating this girl. I don't think she is going to survive. Yeah, but anyway, she's paid the money. Might as well operate her. That kind of a eye-to-eye conversation I could feel. And I remember the doctor asking me, so Anjana, are you okay? Are you feeling good? Don't worry, we will get you out of this. But the statement was so unconvincingly said, as if, okay, script mein likha hai, I have to say this before I open the person. It was more sounding like that. So he very casually was surfing my files, and he looked at me and he said, so Anjana, are you allergic to anything? And obviously he knew I wasn't allergic to anything, but I very loudly said, yes, I am, doctor. And everybody in the operation theater froze. And they were like, what are you allergic to? So I smiled and I said, this cancer cyst doesn't agree with me. Can you just get that off, please? And he smiled. And that time when he told me, don't worry, we will take care of your allergies, it was a confident doctor saying, I will ensure you survive and you come back. So that was my journey when I, came out hale and hearty from the operation theater, underwent the chemo. Remember my mom, my dad, my husband, who for a man to accept, an incomplete woman, like today's world says, is a very big challenge. But he very wholeheartedly supported me all throughout my journey and made sure that, never made me feel that I am a survivor or I am somebody who's gone through this. So a lot of time, when I got treated under Dr. Suresh Advani. And I remember my mom, dad, husband, everybody was sitting and they were crying and they were talking to the doctor and saying, why my daughter? So I always tell this, that 3 things I told my mother that day. I said, listen, Bhagavan ko bhi malum hai, your daughter cannot lose weight. So one shot, 5 kgs gone. And my mom looked at me and was like, how can you joke about it even today? I said, Ma, look at it positively. Your daughter has got cancer in a place which can be cut and thrown. What if she had it in a place which cannot be cut? Number 2, thank your stars. We are financially good enough to operate ourselves in a good quality hospital, get the best medical treatment. What if we didn't? So there is a positive in everything. And that's how, a lot of positivity comes into me. But yes, one thing definitely changes, after I survived it. One thing that definitely happened with me was when I was looking at it purely from, I said, oh, great, now I'm back in action, everything is going good. But it was not the truth. When you had to go to a shopping mall and you could not pick up a stuff from the hanger and wear it because it required a lot of modification, it required a lot of changes. Those little things does make a world of difference. The way people look at it, the way people look at you. I mean, I definitely cannot wear something that you're wearing because I have a scar right across. So I need to be extremely careful about what I wear. There are points of time I need to be conscious because I'm wearing a prosthesis on one side. Sometimes it slips and it moves up. So I have to make sure I adjust it and make sure it's at the same level. Otherwise it does, people do look at you and say, ye aise upar niche kyun hai? Because you are conscious of the fact, people may not notice it, but your family knows about it and they are very conscious about it. So these little things do play along very strongly, but I strongly believe that maybe I got it because God had a purpose, and the purpose was to help people come out of it and make sure they live positively and they accept it and look at things from a different perspective.
Dr. Anjana, kudos. You are actually preaching, positivity aapke andar khoob bhar ke hai. That's how you are able to, spread that positivity. And it is so, and if I may compliment you again, you're so beautiful inside out, I must say.
Thank you
And
so much.
you are really touching life of many, and imagine, you rightly said, God has sent you to spread that positivity, and that's why. And believe you me, I'm so thrilled to have you on the show today. My show is Choose to Challenge, and you are true example of Choose to Challenge, womanhood spirit. Thank you
Thank you so
so
much.
much. I wish I could continue with a long discussion with you. But before I wind up, I just want to ask one last question. Can you just give few takeaways to our viewers today? Anything about life, positivity. You've already spoken a lot, but any few, maybe 3 tips or 3 takeaways.
So number one takeaway, which I always tell people, is God sends you here for a purpose. May not know the purpose right now, but if you look at it from a standpoint, what you have in yourself, it defines you who you are. So I do a lot of talks, with the youth for whom a rope and a fan is an easy access. And I always tell them, a rope and a fan is very easy for you. But if you know how your emotions play along, then you will definitely use them in the right spirit. So for me, emotional intelligence becomes very, very important. What is very important is you are not alone out there. It's a matter of reaching out to people. Whenever you feel low, just talk to whoever you can. And if you have nobody to talk to, Dr. Anjana is here for you. So anytime you could get in touch with me, we could have conversations that could possibly make you feel better. So number one, there is a purpose why you exist on planet Earth. If you don't know the purpose, life will always help you figure it out. Number two, giving up is very easy. Sustaining is difficult. Having a relationship is very easy. Maintaining a relationship is difficult. But we should never forget one simple fact, which I very strongly believe, is the moment you have a lot of troubles in your life, I personally believe you are getting closer to success. Like they say, grapes need to be crushed to get the wine out of it. Carbon needs to be beaten to become a diamond. And that's where, and generally they say, I'm all alone, I'm lonely. But that's where the seed is before it turns into a plant. So if you are in that space, trust me, you're just waiting to buzz out and show your best version. Trust, believe in nobody else but yourself. That's my second takeaway. And the third one, which I always say, is get in front of the mirror. Tell yourself you're beautiful, and the world will see you as beautiful. It's how you respect yourself. It's how you treat yourself. It's how you believe in yourself. The world believes in you exactly the same way. You show pity to yourself, the world doesn't take time. But you show strength to the world, you smile to the world, and the world smiles back at you. But don't wait for somebody to give you a smile. Why don't you be the initiator? Just smile, and you will always get a smile in return. So that's my little bit. If I could contribute to this community, means the world to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Anjana. I'm absolutely grateful for sparing your valuable time. You've been very busy, but sharing your thoughts and spreading that positivity is definitely going to help many who will be listening to our interview today. Uh, I just want to say one thing. When you go beyond yourself, that's when magical things can happen, and you are one true example for that. And thank you once again for being the part of this interesting Women's Special Series, Choose to Challenge.
Thank you. Absolutely an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
If you wish to share more inspiring stories, please contact me at shavi@efaujitalks.com. I thank all our viewers to please like, share, and subscribe to our E4G channel Talks. And do not forget to mention your comment in today's episode. For more interesting stories, please stay tuned. Thank you. Jai Hind.
E4D Talks is brought to you by IESECCI, Indian Ex-Defence Service Employees Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Thanks to its vast veteran network and global and pan-India associates, IESECCI can carry out various commerce facilitations and CSR projects across India and the world. Some of IESECCI's core capability areas are Skill India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, Digital India, any ex-serviceman welfare or job program, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan related projects, telemedicine and healthcare training and job scheme, Save Water scheme, defence industry SME, MSME cluster and hub development, maritime training and inland water training with job facilitation, Canada study, job and permanent residency opportunity, e-commerce, Andaman and Nicobar commerce opportunities. IESECCI's global reach includes countries like Indonesia, Slovakia, Canada, Nepal, Singapore, Rwanda, USA, UK. Above all, it is IESECCI's effort to create a veterans brand made by the veterans, for the veterans and made up of the veterans. Every Indian's support is invaluable in this journey. IESECCI is a registered society for ex-servicemen's welfare and envisions that every veteran should be a part of India's economic growth story. It is the aim of IESECCI to create an enabling commerce platform that will empower and synergize the veterans' talent pool. This is possible only with the support of entrepreneurs, businesses and consultants from civil society. All proceeds, if any, are utilized for the welfare of ex-servicemen and for public charity.